Hello and welcome to On the Rocks, a BRTFC Supporters Club podcast where we discuss all things BRTFC, and I'm your host, Liam Goodley. This broadcast and our club are sponsored by Reynolds Furniture. Visit their store on 27 to 31 High Street, Bognor Regis today, or log on to their website, www.reynoldsfurniture.co.uk, for more details on a fantastic local service they can offer you. I'm joined today by the Rocks photographer. He is the main man for capturing moments on the pitch for Bognor over the past 10 years. Welcome to the one and only Tommy McMillan. Thanks for joining me, Tommy. How are you?
Good afternoon, Liam. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for asking me on your show.
No problem, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Well, I've been off work since the 13th of March. I was technically in the at-risk vulnerable group, so Southern took the decision to send me home, and I've been there ever since.
That's fine. So that's furlough. Like myself, I'm on furlough as well.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm not furlough, Liam. No, I'm just because technically I'm at this category. So the Southern my manager decided that the best thing was for me to be at home.
Yeah, that's obviously the best thing, and obviously thoughts go out to everybody at home at the moment. Still waiting on news from the government as to when it's safe to return to normal, but. Tommy, obviously you've decided to step down as official club photographer at the end of this past season after 10 years of service, which is a real shame for the club in my opinion. What was the reasoning behind the decision?
Well, I'm to be truthful with you, Liam, it's after having the cancer and that, mate, and once I've been listening to you and Lee on the radio, it was easier to step aside, really. So I decided to do it and give the club opportunity to get somebody in place for next season. Yep. So it meant that they could scour somebody if they wanted to take over for next season, and I think that's what they were going to do. To be honest with you, I mean, ever since I was poorly in 2018, you get tired of an evening, so you can't do the evening games. The travelling on a Saturday it can take its toll on you. So it was just easier to call it a day, mate, to be totally truthful with you.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I'm speaking to Tommy as another week passes without football and normality in the world at the moment. How is life without football for you at this moment, Tommy? Obviously, it's now summer, but we didn't see a lot of football, from middle of March onwards, pretty much. So the rest of the season was wiped and null and voided. How's life been for you without the sport and without the football?
Terrible, Liam. To be totally truthful with you, absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Football. I've been involved in football since I was about 14. So it's a nightmare, mate. A nightmare. I know how people must be pulling their hair out and whatever. I mean, it's not so bad living by the sea because you get everyone to go for walks and you can take pictures of other things, but it's not the same.
No, and I know the weather's lovely at the moment, so it's ideal for a walk out to the garden and walk out down to the seafront, as you say. And I'm sure people are making the most of it at the moment. I saw obviously VE Day just passing, and everybody's celebrating out in their own gardens and their own tea parties. So that's all good to see as well. I know you were at the Horsham game and captured some great photos of reactions of the celebrations following goals. This game turned out to be our last of the season, a 2-0 victory against Horsham. What were your thoughts on that match?
Well, I think it was a great game. I mean, the two sides, I thought Horsham, their setup there is fantastic. They've got to be commended for getting into their new ground and that. I think they were going quite well. So for us to go there, I thought between the two teams, I thought it was a cracking game, and I thought we took our 2 goals really well. And they're a good side. They're a good side, Horsham. I thought we done well to take away the points.
Yeah, it was 2 great goals, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got Harvey and Tommy Lee in the midfield and Craney at the back and that, and Tandura, whatever his name is. But they just commanded the game for Bognor. I thought they all had a good game.
Yeah, I think the whole team looked like they were good spirits, and it looked like they turned the corner and they were looking to maybe surge up the league a bit further. But at the moment, obviously became null and void the season, and although they've null and voided the league, I believe the team has kept the points and the goals scored and everything else, so we can still consider that as a season played. And obviously for the fans, everybody went there, so I mean they supported the team all season, and it still existed to the fans. It still happened.
Yeah, all the games happen, Liam. It always makes me laugh with this nil and void, though, Liam. It just makes me laugh because the leagues are calling it nil and void. If any player who picks up a caution, if the fine still carries, I just don't understand how you can be fined for a game that was nil and void. I don't understand how that can work.
No.
I'm pretty sure I'm sure Robbie and Jack will be asking questions. How can players who are cautioned in games and could be fined in games, then the game is now classed as nil and void?
Exactly. Well, that's a good question, actually. Good
I think so. The club will be asking questions that you've declared a season nil and void, and yet you're still finding the players.
Yeah, can't understand that.
No.
Sure, that's a good point.
No. Yeah.
I hope obviously the club that look into that sort of thing, because.
Well, I'd like to think so. I mean, how can you say the league? How can you say the season is nil and void? There's no promotion, there's no relegation and all that. I get that. And when you finish in the league, you finish. That's where you finish. It's a shameful wording because, I mean, I think they were going to run away with that league in the end. But they've declared the league nil and void, and poor old Worthing don't end up being the champions. And it's the first time in nearly over 20 years they've done the double over Bognor. And that now doesn't count. I mean, it's good and a half, but it doesn't count anymore.
No. And I was saying I think it was Dan Story, that if it was us in that position, we'd feel a bit aggrieved as well.
I don't think we'd be too happy. I mean, I think the teams on the bottom will be quite happy because it means they don't get relegated. But you've got to have I mean, I know there's rivalry between Bognor and Worthing, but you've got to have a little bit of sympathy for them. Because I think they were going to run away with that league. To be honest with you, I think they were going to win it in the end. Yeah. And I think it's just been taken away from them, really.
Yeah, I think they were. I think 7 or 8 points clear they were when the season ended.
And then Folkestone didn't look as if they were going to catch them.
No, because they kept dropping points. They lost the double. We did the double over them, obviously, as well, didn't we? The Folkestone.
They're fantastic games of football, Liam.
Yeah, two games that I thought really we showed what we could do on our day.
Well, the people who went to the Folkestone game at Folkestone, if they were there and they saw that we scored a winning goal with seconds to go, they said, "Cool, that was a close game." But if you watched the game for the whole 90 minutes, their keeper, who at the end of the day was man of the match.
Yeah.
And the chances that Bognor had that day was just incredible. How we never took. I'm surprised how we never took about 5 or 6 off the Folkestone that day. They absolutely battered them, and it was just amazing that they got a fantastic equaliser, and then we got up the park in the last couple of minutes and we scored a cracking goal. And on the way home in the coach, people are saying, how haven't we come away from there 4 or 5-1 up?
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you. And, those games really stand out. And even, obviously, we talk about Margate as well. And that was a day when everything went right. And Cray Wanderers at home, another one. Yeah,
I mean, I've been to Margate 3 times with us. That's 4 now. That's the first time I think we've even scored a goal there for quite a long time at Margate. But to score 6 was brilliant.
Yeah, fantastic. As many people know, Tommy, you have been our main photographer the past 10 years. How did this all start for you at the club?
Well, I did a couple of games I did a couple of games back in the 2010-2011 season. And Simon saw me at the games and that, and I've been there going a few times, and they asked me if I'd be interested in doing some of the home games. I did explain to him that I worked on the railways and I couldn't do every game. And Steve was quite happy to do that, for me to do the home games, because he could guarantee the pictures being there ready for the Thursday. And if we had a game on the Tuesday, I would do the photographs when I came home, so they would be in the paper for the Thursday morning. So, yeah, and that's basically where it all took off for him.
Yeah, that's great. And obviously, you built a good relationship with Steve Bone at the Observer, and that really took off, didn't it? Yeah,
it took off really well. Steve's been brilliant with me, Liam. He's great. He's been really good. He's even got me passes to Goodwood. I do Goodwood for him sometimes. That's another fantastic week away, but that's brilliant. Yes, he's done well by me, Liam, Steve has.
That's great. Over the course of a typical match, Tommy, how many photos do you take at the football?
Well, on a normal Saturday game, Liam, you could be doing anything up to about 600 of an evening, because the lights are not the best. I mean, not probably because unless you've got fantastic camera equipment, our lights and most of the lights at the non-league level are pretty poor. So of an evening game, you're lucky to get about 100, but on a Saturday, you could be doing anything up to 600 photographs.
Wow, that's amazing. And Are you having to trawl through these after the game?
Yeah, well, when I come home, when I come home on a Saturday night, poor old Carol and the wife, she's sitting there, and I could be on the computer till about 9, 10 o'clock, trying to edit some of the better ones, really.
Yeah, so it's a matter of capturing those moments. And
yeah, I mean, I don't know how these professional guys get on. I mean, you've got to have admiration for them, Liam, because when they're doing a game at Football League level, they've got to have their pictures ready, bang on half time, or as soon as a goal goes in, so they can get it out to the relevant press agencies, because that's, unfortunately, for the professional lads, that's what it's all about. I mean, it's not too bad for us at our level, because at Bogner's level, they don't need the photographs to whenever, unless you're putting the photographs in the non-league paper, and they have to be done when Bogner's at home till about 7 o'clock,
exactly.
As you know, with the reports. So it's not too bad, but if you're under a lot of pressure, really, from the National League up to the Football League to the Premier League, when there's a goal, you've got to have it done there and then. I mean, I remember last season, I did a game at Brentford, and I captured the goal that West Brom scored, and therefore that guy had missed it because he was on his computer doing another photograph, and he said to me, you didn't get that goal, did you, mate? I said, yeah, I did actually. He said, have you got your card so I can send it? So I mean, it's brilliant that they're on the ball doing whatever, but I don't think you can combine the two, if I'm being truthful with you. You can be watching and trying to get a photograph and then be sending a photograph to your relevant news agencies. I don't think, but these lads somehow seem to be able to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they do it. Obviously, technology is changing all the time, and in terms of getting into photography, Tommy, for those wanting to get into photography, what would you advise for them to do? Any advice you'd like to give them?
Have a deep pocket, Liam.
Yeah, because the equipment's not cheap, is it?
No, you're talking. I mean, even for second-hand equipment, Liam, you could be talking anything in excess of £1,000 just for a second-hand lens, a decent second-hand lens. Unless especially for sports photography, you've got to be talking a couple of grand just for a decent camera and a decent lens. And then to get your camera equipment insured, you got to get it insured really. And if you're doing football photography, you've got to have the public liability insurance.
So what type of camera do you have when you're at the football?
I use Nikon cameras, Liam. I use a Nikon D3S and a Nikon D750. They both do me good. I've got Nikon lenses with both ones. I know people say you can use the Tamron and the Sigma lenses, but I think if you've got a Nikon camera, you should have a Nikon lens. It's the same with the lads who use Canon. Most of them have got Canon cameras, but Canon lenses. I think you've got to have the make of cameras and lenses to go with equipment. But it's not cheap, Lynn, let's put it that way.
No, I know it's only getting, the prices, the more technology gets involved, the more pricey they become.
To be honest with you, the more advanced cameras become, in a couple of years, you'll have the mirrorless cameras that you're going to be talking another couple of grand, which will be good, because you need a fast card for football, you see, Liam. If you're doing football, you need a fast card. I mean, people say, oh, you're going to shop, and you just say, right, I'm going to be doing this, and I'm going to be doing that. But it depends on your extent of how you want to be doing it, because you've got to have the right sort of equipment. And these cards, I mean, they just for a good card, you can be talking 150 quid just for a good card. It's got loads of scope on it.
So these cards allow you to take photos of a lot of moving.
Yeah.
To see the players.
Yeah, but moving fast images. You're getting a moving fast image card.
Yeah, so you don't get all this blur and everything that you get on a regular phone.
And if you get a blurry picture, you try and do it, but it's always best if you can get the right. If you can capture, sometimes it's great to capture the perfect shot. That's why non-league football is brilliant, Liam, because there's not many people in your view, and there's not whatever, and you can capture the perfect shot sometimes.
Yeah, and I spoke to James Crane recently in the last episode, and basically he said that you captured the moment that he'd scored that goal immediately after the Altrincham finish, the goal he scored in that FA Trophy game, and he said you really captured the moment, because the celebration afterwards with him, I think it was a few other players in the background, he just couldn't. It's like he couldn't believe the moment really.
Yeah, I mean, that was a sad night for me though, Liam, when Bognor beat Altrincham, because that was my team technically in Manchester, Altrincham.
Oh.
It was great to see them playing at Nywood Lane, because I followed Altrincham when I was a schoolboy.
Wow.
That was the team we used to go and watch. Yeah, so it was great when they got drawn Bognor in the FA Trophy.
Because it looked like at the time before Crane scored that it might go to a replay.
Well, yeah, because he scored in the last minute, near enough the last couple of minutes, didn't he?
That's right.
Yeah, and I felt sorry for Altrincham that. I mean, I think they'd have brought a really fantastic crowd here had the game gone ahead on the Saturday, of course, but the weather put pay to that.
That's right. You're right there. And Tommy, I'm interested to know what your first Rocks memory was, and can you remember your first Rocks match?
I think, because when I refereed, I didn't see a lot of Bognor games, because I refereed back in the day, Liam, and I didn't really see a lot of Bognor games because they were in a different league to what I refereed in. When I did for the Sussex County League, and then I did the Doc Martens League, and I think back in them days, I think Bognor were in the Isthmian League.
That's right.
So I didn't really see a lot of Bognor games, Liam, but I do recall the one year on the Boxing Day. I think they were in the Conference South, Bognor, or the National League South. And they got scalped by Havant. I think they got beat about 5-0. I think they lost about 5-0. And then they played them again, because back in them days, I think they played them again then on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
And then they drew 2-2, and you think, how can that be the same team that's played there on the Boxing Day, play them again on the New Year's Day, and it's a completely different game, and I haven't. They actually could have won that game, but it was a draw 2-2, I think it was.
Yeah, no, complete different, sides of the game, wasn't it? One game, next game, we actually could have won it.
Well, one game, absolutely. Havant could have scalped him if they wanted to that day, but then you think Bognor go to Havant on the New Year's Day, and they could have won the game, and you think, Jesus, but that was back in the. I think I'm pretty sure I'm right about that, though, Liam. I think that's how the Conference League used to do that, wasn't it, back in them days?
Yeah, I think you always had your local rivals, or they were pretty much our next door neighbours in terms of the league. The only other team in the league that was near to us, I think, Havant were the main rivals that season, and the Boxing Day is at one place, and then the other, usually the New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, they do the other place. So obviously it's usually Worthing in our league, but it was that season Havant. So, yeah, you're right.
I didn't really finish football until about 2008, so I probably started then watching some Bognor games from about 2008, Liam.
Right.
Because I remember another cracking game they had. I think they played. I think it was at Hampton and Richmond Borough. I think they played in the FA Trophy, and they did 2-2 in that game. And I think Bognor scored an absolute screamer with seconds to go, and the whole place just erupted.
Yeah, fantastic.
They're brilliant. Yeah, they were my early memories of Bognor, Liam.
So what drew you to the club, Tommy? Was it that moment, or was it a number of moments?
I think probably that one, Liam. I only live I'm not far from the ground, really. And I always can hear the noise sometimes if I'm sitting in my garden and there's a game on a Saturday, and you can hear the noise of the crowd. So, I just thought, well, and I wanted to get into. My missus will tell you, I love football. And when we go to Glasgow and all that, I just love football, Liam. Even when we go abroad, I'm having to try and find a football match somewhere.
Yeah, no, and I'm sure a lot of fans are in the same boat when they go abroad. I know of a few fans that do that, and you've just got to find your football fix, haven't you, wherever? Oh,
absolutely. I'm not a big person for watching it on the telly, Liam.
No.
I like to watch a live match. I do that with Karen. When we won't watch Parky Thistle, we normally find somewhere for her to go in the morning, and that keeps her happy. Then we have a bit of lunch and then go and watch Parky Thistle in the afternoon. So it's great. I think you can kill two birds with one stone, Liam.
Yeah, definitely. And I always argue with people who support teams only in the Premier League or whatever, and not a local side like I do.
No.
And they always ask me, oh, what league are they in? And I tell them, obviously, I give them the whole spiel about them being in the Isthmian League. And then they say, well, why do you support them? And I say, well, at least I can go and watch them every week, live, and not have to worry about Sky subscriptions and all sorts of things like that.
Well, you can't beat your non-league setups, Liam. I go up to Scotland sometimes and watch local non-league football up there. And people say to me where I come from, and they say, well, what level do Bognor Regis play at? And I say, I said, they're only about 4 off. I said, they were back in them days. I said, they're only about 4 off the Football League. And people said, Jesus, crikey. And I said, well, so I'm glad that in Scotland, for the first time next season, Liam, they're going to have a pyramid system, you see. We're going to have a four league pyramid system where teams now can obviously aspire to try and get to into the Scottish leagues. I mean, it's been a long time coming up there, you see, Liam, because there's a lot of decent clubs there, and some of the non-league clubs there get healthy attendances, you see. And it's good that Bobby's got a good attendance, but I mean, like when I used to come from Glasgow, Liam, we had a team called Pollock there, and Pollock, sometimes they can command about 4,000 people watching a game. And you know, and you think, Jesus, and it's just amazing.
Yeah, no, and it shows that there is, you know, a big culture for football in Scotland, and you can see that England have done the right thing, and obviously the pyramid that they have, it's probably one of the biggest in the world, but I'm sure Scotland and it's going to follow suit now.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I just think the pyramid system is brilliant. You're just giving teams a chance to aspire to the highest level they can achieve, Liam. And you can't beat that. Exactly. You can't beat that.
Exactly, and it was only going to help your national team as well. Like
absolutely. And I'm you. I love going. Well, you know what I'm like on a Saturday when we go to the away games on the coach. I like to get there, and David always has a puff at me for saying doing whatever. But I like to get to the ground and go around the ground and get photographs of the ground and get the atmosphere of the ground. I think some of the non-league grounds are fantastic. Some of them are awful, but some of them are brilliant. You know, some of the places we've been over the last 5 or 6 years, like the trip to Truro and the trip to Weston-super-Mare we did. And I mean, I know you've done some of the evening games to long distances. But I just think the banter is the banter on that coach, Liam, it's just brilliant.
It is brilliant, isn't it? And the characters on there.
There are some real characters on there, mate. Don't you worry about that.
It's really good. No, really enjoy the away trips, obviously with A&A Travel. And David Robinson does a great job, obviously, organising those.
He does. Him and Ian. I mean, Ian doesn't get a lot of the recognition because David, and I know Ian doesn't do many games because he has to work on a Saturday with the fire brigade and that. But Ian does. He's another one who does a fantastic behind the scenes. I think with him and David, and it's great. And even Ken was getting involved this year, which was really good.
Yeah, I'm glad he's got involved, and I think he's enjoying it. So looking back at your photos, Tommy, you post them online, and many of which the club and local press use are outstanding. What's the secret behind taking the right pictures? Is it harder than it looks?
It is. Sometimes you've got, if you get the right Photoshop. So I mean, I know you've sometimes you use the Photoshop, and just sometimes Photoshop can enhance the photograph a little bit. If if the light's a bit poor, you can get a bit more light into the shot. Sometimes you can really get a good shot. If you can, I mean, I got some really good shots of the Horsham evening game when they played at Nywood Lane. And if you can if you can just enhance the photograph a little bit, it can come out quite good. Steve said that, his paper guy, he said to me, these were really good shots. It's all about, sometimes Photoshop can enhance the shot.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I know those Horsham shots I obviously shared on my Facebook page. It really captured the moment after that Harvey goal.
I think it's great because I think when the fans the players love getting involved with the fans, and the fans love the players. I think we're a very good fan-based community club, if you could put it like that, Liam. If you can put it like that, I think the players like to interact with the fans, and the fans interact with the players.
Yeah, and that's the thing about non-league that you might not necessarily get higher up the pyramid.
I think it's great. And how many places? I mean, it's like, how many places can you go into the bar after the game, and the players might be there having a bite to eat, and at least they'll take time to sit and talk to you. Yeah. They'll be there to talk to you, and then you might say, you could say, I thought you had a poor game today, mate. And they might have a short opinion. But I mean, at least you can go and speak to them, as long as you speak to them in the correct manner, Liam.
Yeah, exactly. A bit of respect. It's like a friend you meet down the road, isn't it? And talking to
everybody can have a bad day at the office, Liam. I know I'm watching Bobby. We've had a few of them.
Yeah, exactly. So your photos online, Tommy, where can people check those out?
Well, they can normally check them on the Bognor Regis Town Facebook page, or they go on the Bognor Regis Town Pitch Euro page, Liam.
Brilliant. No, that's great. And I see a lot of them going up obviously every game. What did you enjoy most about being the club's official photographer for the past 10 years? I
enjoyed the whole day. Simon Cook will tell you, I used to get down to the ground about 12:30. I like that. I love doing the mascots. I like getting the mascots and the people turning up for the first time. Sometimes it was always good to get photographs for the ball sponsors if they wanted them, and then sometimes the match sponsors would have a photograph with whatever. And then you do the game, you do the mascot with the two captains at the beginning, and even the opposing captains are pretty good. Liam, they don't mind getting involved. And then the after match with the man of the match, Liam. It was also your whole day. I mean, you could be at the ground. I mean, you do it yourself. When you get there, it's just the whole day. The whole day is brilliant.
Yeah, I know. It's the whole thing, isn't it? Not only the game itself, it's the experience before and after.
Yeah, and you're bumping into the manager, Robbie and Jack, and it's just good for him. As a club, I think we're an excellent football club.
No, I totally agree with you there, Tommy. With the season now a foregone conclusion, what was your favourite memory or moment or moments?
This season, I still think the two games against Folkestone were fantastic. I thought the two clubs were brilliant. I think the game when we beat Cray Wanderers 7-2, I think that was fantastic. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a fantastic performance that day. I thought we were really, really good. I think if we'd have kicked off this season running the way where we were now, we wouldn't have been in the position we'd have been in. I think unfortunately, we needed a goalkeeper and maybe somebody else at the back. I think when we went to Bishop Stortford, you were there. We're all saying on the coach, how have we lost that 1-3-1?
Yeah, no, it was very bizarre, wasn't it? Beginning of the season with goalkeeper situation.
Yeah, and then when we got beat 4-0 at home by Potters Bar, the goalkeeper, with everybody had said, "Oh, this lad's not a bad goalkeeper," and what happens? You just think, "Oh dear." But you live and learn sometimes by your mistakes, Liam, unfortunately. Yeah. And I think we dropped too many silly points at the outset.
Yeah, I think it was 6 or 7 games, wasn't it, where we just didn't get started.
We never got running, Liam. We didn't get running. We never started.
No. And I think that was the turning point, really, when you look at the season as a whole. I mean, we had a good run sort of middle of the season, sort of October through to November. But other than that, it was sort of up and down, not very consistent at times. And I think that might have been the reason why we weren't up there come the end of that season.
And we lost the 2 games against Worthing, both 3-0. And you think even the first game at Worthing, we lost 3-0. Up until Worthing scored in the first goal, there's only one team going to win. And we just haven't put the ball in the back of the net. And then they get a goal, and before you know it, the whole game changes.
Yeah.
And then the game at Nywood Lane, again, it was a costly mistake. And before you know it, Mr. Parsons, God bless him, puts the ball in the back of the net. And it's game over, near enough, you think.
Yeah, it's when the team does make mistakes, it becomes more apparent, doesn't it? And it leads to bigger, deficits. Well,
I think some teams, as I say, you've been watching football maybe as long as me now, Liam, but when you make schoolboy defences, errors, and you get punished for it at our level, you're playing against lads who are pretty hot, and they know where the back of the net is, and they put the ball away, and you're punished for it. At our level, you might get away with it on a Sunday morning on the park pitch. Sometimes you might get away with that, but you can't get away with it at our level. If you make a mistake, a monumental mistake, I mean, as I said, the Potters Bar game, who'd have said we would deserve to lose 4-0?
Exactly. And I think it was down to, it was at least 3 mistakes to the 3 goals, wasn't it? I'm
so sorry for the goalkeeper. I mean, the poor lad, unfortunately, he couldn't catch a goal.
No, it was one of those days that just, we just looking on, you just couldn't see where the next, where we were going to get back into it.
No, and that's to say, when you locks out, sometimes, Liam, you locks out.
Yeah, you get obviously extreme highs and extreme lows at Nywood Lane, which is great, and this is one of the reasons I love going.
Yeah, exactly.
When not working hard for and supporting the club, Tommy, what do you like to do in your spare time?
I like to go with the missus. Sometimes we go out for days out, places, Liam. We go to the Isle of Wight, up to London, over at Wembley. I've still got family in Glasgow, we've still got family in Manchester, so we sometimes go and see them. And obviously sometimes having a holiday.
Brilliant.
We like our holidays. And basically just enjoying life, really, Liam.
Where's your favourite place to visit at the moment, Tommy?
Tenerife.
Scotland.
Tenerife. We like going to Tenerife, Liam. Yeah, we went to Tenerife first time last year, And we really, really liked the place. We went to a place called Costa del Decky, and it was really nice. And there's a football ground, believe it or not, Liam, not far from the hotel.
Ideal.
A team called CD Mourinho, who are in the lower echelons of their league and on the island. Tenerife sometimes come and play them.
Brilliant.
So it's pretty good.
So do you go to usually the same hotel place out there, or do you like to go to different areas?
We try and do different areas.
Yeah.
We try and see the country. I like to see the country, Liam.
Amazing. That's good to hear. In your opinion, Tommy, who is the best player you have witnessed representing Bognor in your time following the side?
Best player. There's been loads. There's been loads of really, really outstanding footballers have come to Nywood Lane, the likes of Craig Robsons, the Jason Pryors of this world. Jimmy was a good player, Jimmy Mewett.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson was a good player.
Yeah.
Stuart Axon was a fantastic defender. Craig Stoner was a great goalkeeper. Grant Smith was a great goalkeeper. Dan Lincoln was a good goalkeeper. Yeah, you could name loads. The player I think who's given the club a lot of consistency, as I said to you, for me was James Crane. He was there when I first started going there. James has been there a long time, apart from that one season when he left us and went to Worthing.
Yeah.
I was glad to see he came back again. But James Crane, I'd probably say James Crane stands out because he's been there a long time. But the club has had some brilliant players over the years, Liam. To be honest with you, it's really a hard call. Doddy was a fantastic goal scorer. He knew where the back of the net was. Ben Godfrey was also a good goal scorer. He knew where the back of the net was.
Yeah.
You could go through this. You could go through players, Liam, and I could be sitting here talking to you all night about the players that have been at Nywood Lane. That have, they've always put a shift in for the club. When Theo Whittington came not long ago, when he was in midfield, I thought he'd have real class, and then all of a sudden, for some reason, he fell away. But for the first couple of games, he looked real class when he played against the Worthings of this world. When it's Joe Tomlinson, another fantastic lad, I think, really good player. I think the club's done well to have some really good players. Dan Smith and Lethbridge, I think they're good players. So it's a real hard call, that one, Liam. Sometimes
you could develop a whole new squad, couldn't you? All these players that we've had over the years.
I think Joe Cook is one I think that lad will really go places, Liam.
Yeah.
I think he'll really go places.
Totally agree. I think he was a standout player this past season.
Absolutely, and I think I'd be surprised if he had not won the Player of the Year because he was a real class act there, Liam.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm sure he's going to push on up the leagues, as you say. And
I think so. I was surprised when I heard he wasn't getting in the Havant team, which was unbelievable.
I couldn't understand it personally. Maybe because of his age, I don't know whether he's not wanting to risk him.
He scored one. That was the goal he scored at Bognor one night when he just hit it. Gone in the top corner. What a goal!
Yeah, that was the Enfield Town game, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was it. We beat them. Yeah, when they weren't happy that night when they had a highly controversial goal disallowed for no reason apparently. When it was, I think the score was still 0-0, wasn't it, Liam? And
that's right.
And they scored what everybody thought was a pretty decent goal.
Yeah. No.
To be chopped off.
Yeah, couldn't believe it. What another game that stands out, obviously, last season was the Enfield Town game, obviously. And Joe Cook's, obviously, finish there was a standout moment.
A wonder strike, Liam. A wonder strike, that's what I'd call that.
One of the goals of the season, I think it would have been a contender for the end of season awards. I'm sure.
Totally agree with you.
Tommy, did you play football over the years, and were there any particular players you looked up to as a child? Who would you consider as your favourite player?
I played football in Manchester, Liam. I played football for a youth club, a Lostock Youth Club, and I played for them for about 4 years. We won the league. Yeah, we won the league and the cup a couple of times in the Altrincham Junior League. The highlight being was that we played at Altringham's ground for the cup final. When we played a team called Siemens Moss, we beat them in the final, and we also beat them to win in the league. Yeah, so I played up until about 1980, Liam, and then I was on the railways again, and I had to really give up playing because working on a Saturday and a Sunday didn't really help you, and that's when I took up refereeing, Liam.
So how did that all start, Tommy, with the refereeing?
The refereeing was that most of them, I'm not sure if you'd be aware, but most games in the Manchester League had no referees on a Saturday, Liam, or on a Sunday. The referees were in short supply, so my mate just said, "Go on, you can do it." And I did a couple of games, and one of the referees on another pitch said, "You had a good game there, lad. Have you thought about taking up refereeing?" And I went, "Not really, but I did do, and yeah, I didn't look back, Liam."
You're glad you did overall.
Yeah, 1982 I started refereeing, and I didn't finish till 2008. So yeah.
Wow, so that's a real career in officiating on the game.
Oh yeah. I really got him to be assistant referee in the Sussex Senior Cup final. That was probably the highlight of my career, and doing fourth officially in at Fratton Park and the Dell and what have you. So yeah, it was good.
Wow.
Really enjoyed it. Met some characters over the years, Liam.
Yeah, I'm sure you have, with all those accolades, obviously building up still involved with the game, obviously now, and obviously photography over the past 10 years of capturing some great goals over the years with Bognor. And what would you consider as your favourite Bognor goal over the 10 years that you've been following the team?
Well, it has to be, Jimmy Mew's goal against Leyton Orient has to be there or thereabouts. I tell you, the best goal I've actually seen in Limewood Lane, Liam, it was scored by Whitehawk, though. One night, I think there's a game when we beat them. I think we beat them 6-2.
That's right.
And I think they scored one of the best goals I'd seen at Limewood Lane for a long time. It was all one-touch football down one side, and the lad knocked it out to the right-hand side, and the guy crossed it over, and the lad volleyed it right in the top corner. I thought, Jesus, what a goal that was. For me, that was probably one of the best goals I'd seen at Limewood Lane by an opposition side. Yeah. That was by Whitehawk, and they got murdered that night at Limewood Lane, but they took away one of their best goals, you see. Joe Tomlinson's goals against Lewis, they were brilliant, and he scored a couple of crackers against Lewis. But probably Jimmy's goal against Leyton Orient in the trophy, Liam.
Yeah, I totally agree. It was a real entertaining night of football that night.
That was a shame, because that was when I believe that the club and Leyton Orient agreed that the game would go to extra time. Because I think a lot of fans would have loved to have gone to Brisbane Road, but if that's fair enough, if the clubs make an agreement, then they make an agreement. But I think we were called on out of a trip to Brisbane Road.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure if they could do that in the FA Cup, but in the FA Trophy they seem to be allowed to do.
I don't know about the FA Cup.
No, I'm not sure about that. To add to that, Tommy, obviously, follow on to that question, what would be your favourite photo that you've captured with Bognor over the past 10 years?
Well, there's been a couple, Liam. There's been a couple. The playoff win against Dulwich was just an immense day. It was really, really. I was working for the other Dulwich one. I couldn't do that one, but the Dulwich day was just an immense day. Really, everybody had a fantastic day. You could see what it meant to the club to get into the Ryman Premier League. It was just brilliant. And Craig Stoner, when he saved that penalty, he just had a feeling it was going to be our day.
Yeah.
Axton scored a cracking header. I thought we could have beaten them a couple of goals more. It was the same I've seen the video of the other playoff final again. It's amazing that every time we played Dulwich, they beat us in semis and we beat them in finals, Liam.
Yeah. Quite funny. Yeah, it's unusual, that, isn't it?
Yeah, because they beat us in the two playoff semi-finals, and we beat them in the two playoff finals. So there's a bit of history between Bognor and Dulwich, and they're a fantastic outfit. Even when we played them in the FA Cup this year, we lost 6-1, but I didn't think we were worthy of a 6-1 defeat, Liam, to be honest.
It was one of those games where I came away and I thought we didn't deserve to lose by that many. The scoreline sort of didn't portray the way we played, I didn't think.
Again, we were lacking a goalkeeper, Liam, unfortunately.
Yeah, and that was back in that time when I think that was the turning point, really, where the management team looked at it and thought we need to make some changes, and they went ahead and did that.
Yeah, we needed a goalkeeper, Liam.
Yeah.
But that was about the best memory. And, of course, the Senior Cup win against Burgess Hill last year, that was another epic day with the club. I went to get the whole access to the Amex was superb, to be allowed into the changing room to see the lads before the start of the game, and then to get some photographs with the lads after the game. That was a good evening. That was good, Liam. And for the club to win, it was even better.
Yeah, fantastic day there at the Amex, and the really good atmosphere from the Rocks fans, and great photos from yourself to sort of. Yeah,
I took a few that night, Liam.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on the new ground improvements that the club have been organising for some time?
There's not a lot wrong with our current ground. I think the stand needs updating. The main stand basically needs updating, because you can see it's getting old and it just needs updating, Liam. I mean, we've been to some lovely grounds. When we went to Bowers and Pitch, I thought that's a stand that the club could look at. I mean, I thought that was a really nice stand at Bowers and Pitch.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of the 3G or the 4G pitches. I hope we keep it grass because I think we've got good groundsmen. And you can even hear the number of people who look come at Bognor. They've got one of the best playing surfaces I've seen in non-league football for the last 10, 15 years. And I think Brian and these lads, they deserve all the accolades they get because I think our pitch is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the non-league circuit.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of clubs are going the 3G way, but I just hope, as you say, that
I hope we don't go that. I hope we don't go that. It's the same as this with this online programs, Liam. I won't entertain them. I don't agree with them. I don't like them. I think, people go to a ground and people like to buy a program, buy a pint, sit and read the program before the game. They might toss the program after the game, Liam. That's their choice. But I don't like online programs. I've no time for them. I don't blame clubs for doing it, but I've just got no time for it. You've got a local derby, Liam. You could have maybe 700, 800 people there. You're not telling me you can't sell 200 programs.
Yeah, I think that's another thing. It's part of the tradition, isn't it, of going to a football game is...
Non-league football's been like that. Yeah, it's been like that for years lately. And you go to the ground, when we go away, I always like to try and get a pin badge wherever we go. I've got badges that most from my last 10, 15 years with Bognor. I've got badges that all the teams have played. I know people might think you're being a bit better, but I just like to look at them and say, well, I remember going there. I remember the trips to Leiston. I remember the trips when we went to Leiston. You remember the trips when we went, as I say, to Truro, to Western Supermare. We've been and Lowestoft. You just think, Jesus, we've done some travelling.
Yeah, we've travelled the length and breadth of the country, really, haven't we, with the away trips?
Yeah, absolutely. And may it continue, Liam. May it continue.
Yeah, of course. What do you love most about the football club at Bognor?
I think they're a fantastic club, Liam. I think it's a fantastic club from top to bottom. From everybody to Wes who does the kit, to Lynn who looks after the bar. I think everybody's just, it's a sociable club, Liam. It's a really, really sociable club. And it's a club that should be proud of itself. It tries to interact. I think Ian does his best to interact with the local community. I think we try really hard to interact with the local community. I'd love to see more people down there on a Saturday, don't get me wrong, and on a midweek game. I think as a club, I think we really do try to interact with the local community.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Tommy. That's what part of the reasons why I continue to go down, go to the games, and I think that's part of the big selling point for the club to try and get more fans in is that reason.
Yeah, and when I was in hospital, though, Liam, it was great when you and Lee Roberts were doing the commentaries, and when I was at home, it was great because I've heard people like listening. I've heard that young Tommy Block likes listening to your games. So your Rocks Radio is brilliant. It's a fantastic. It was brilliant whoever come up with it because it's great for people who can't attend matches. It's another fantastic idea.
Yeah.
The club should be proud of your Rocks Radio. It's great to listen to.
And obviously Lee Roberts leads that, and I'm always pleased when he's there leading it because I always struggle to lead it, but he's very good at that.
It's good when you bring Peter Hood in and that, and because obviously Peter's a professional on it, and he knows his script, and you can see he's done it before, so it's good. I think it's great. I think some of the things the club have done don't get the recognition. I mean, I looked at the League Awards they were looking at. And how Robbie Blake never got the award for some of the games, and how the club never got for the performance of the week when they murdered Cray, and they didn't even get an inkling off the league. And you think, sometimes it didn't make sense, Liam.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we need now, other than obviously a financial backer to come in and help us, is a good FA Cup run and to get on TV. I think that really opened people's eyes to the fact that we've got a great club down there on the south coast.
Could do. You could be right, Liam. I mean, I was looking at some of Andrew's stuff that he posts on the forum. Some of the clubs that Bognor have played over in the FA Cup over the years. Brushley and Diamonds have gone. They're gone. They're in the club that have now gone.
Yeah.
Going to Peterborough United, going to Cambridge, playing Exeter. Of course, and then the victory over Swansea. The club's had a lot of big success over the years, Liam. And you'd love the club to. The marketing sometimes. Ian's done his real utmost, and Dave Robinson with the boards around the ground is just fantastic. Yeah, but there's obviously more out there that I don't know if there's more out there that people can do, but the club's it's doing well.
Yeah, I know, and it's great to see, and obviously on and off the pitch, it seems to be growing, and obviously away from the football, away from Bognor. Sorry, Tommy. What you've mentioned Partick Thistle. Is that your other team that you support?
They're my little team in Scotland, Liam. They're the team I follow.
How did you come to support? Is it just your nearest
team? No, there's the story behind that, Liam. I was born. My family are all basically Rangers and Rangers supporters, apart from one of my brothers who supported Clyde. Partick Thistle were playing one night. They played Celtic in the Scottish Cup, Liam, and they drew on the Saturday 3-3, and apparently they should have won the game. And then they played Celtic again on the Wednesday night, because in them days you played straight away. And they absolutely got murdered, Liam. They got absolutely murdered. I think it was 8-1, 8-0 they lost. And I said to my dad, I said, I'd love to go and see them play, Dad. He said, well, they've got a home game Sunday, son. Let's go and watch them. So we went and watched Partick Thistle on the Saturday, Liam, and that was basically it. Of course, and then they had their fantastic day in 1971 when they beat Celtic 4-1 at Hampden.
Yeah. So
in the League Cup final.
You went to that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was 14.
Wow. What?
I was 14 at the time, and then the first game of the season after they'd been promoted from the second division, with the first game in the first division was against Rangers. They beat Rangers 3-2. So I mean, even Partick Thistle players tell the story that when they beat Celtic 4-1, they played Aberdeen about 2 weeks later, and they absolutely got scalped 7-2. I mean, that was the sort of club they were, Liam. 1 minute they could murder somebody, and then the next week they'd get murdered.
Yeah. So it's always never a dull moment.
No, it's brilliant. I mean, I think people get more joy out of following a team, Liam, that's not suited for a lot of glory hunting. I mean, you could follow Celtic and Rangers if you wanted to. They're the two biggest clubs in Scotland, but sometimes you just get fed up with the baggage that comes with them, Liam. So that's great. I preferred watching Partick, to be honest with you.
Now, what is your view on Scottish clubs maybe merging with English clubs? Do you think that'll ever happen, like the Celtic and Rangers?
No.
No. Do you think they should stay separate in the Scottish?
I don't think if it ever happens, Liam, it will happen in our lifetime, mate. I don't think that'll ever happen.
No.
I think the clubs in England don't want Celtic and Rangers to come to England. I know the travel today is easy, and you could be in Glasgow less than 2.5 hours from the likes of Newcastle, Manchester and all them places. You could be back in Scotland in less than an hour by flight. I just can't see it happening, Liam. Maybe a British Super League could come along in years to come, Liam. Maybe, if you invited teams from Northern Ireland, and obviously you've got your two Welsh clubs in there at the minute with Cardiff and Swansea.
Yeah, that's why I asked you, because I thought maybe they might thinking of doing that as well with Scotland, but you're probably right in what you're saying.
I personally can't. At the minute, I can't see it, Liam. I just can't see it.
No, that's fair enough. What has been your favourite Bognor strip so far to this point, or over the time you've supported the club? I think
this current one's one of the best they've had, Liam.
Yeah.
I think it's really a cracking shirt. I mean, it's the same with the away shirt. I think they've got. I mean, I know they've got area shirts, and I think that these two are probably about the best they've had for quite a while, Liam.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you. And some of the away strips over the years have been very nice as well, and I always try and buy myself some.
I like the blue one, Liam. I thought the blue one was a nice one. I thought they did. I remember the night at. You probably remember the game, Liam, when Faversham came to Iwood Lane, and they played in our away kit.
That's right. Yes, I remember that.
They played in our away kit one year, Faversham. I think we beat them 2-0, but they had to play. I mean, I've got photographs of that. one lad in blue marking Stuart Axton, and it looked like funny because it's the same sponsor on both shirts, and people would say, "All right," but it's a Bognor kit. But I don't know what the reason was behind that night, but Faversham had to play in our kit, Liam.
No, I think I remember that now. That was it because of they had a kit that clashed, or was it because they just didn't have the kits?
Well, I know Faversham played in white because when we always played at Faversham, we had to change shirts.
Yeah.
So I presume it because Faversham played in white.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think sometimes they do clash. It's very rare with ours because obviously mainly white and green, isn't it? Normally, not a lot of other clubs in our league. Wear.
It's a bit of a shame sometimes. I think the club wear the away kit just to get it out of the bag.
Yeah, it's some seasons go by. It seems like we never wear the away strip.
No, there's a few.
Yeah, it's only the odd few in the season that you'd say, oh yeah, we wore the away strip then. But it's now time for the quick fire rocks players round, Tommy. I don't know if you've heard of this before, but basically I'll give you 2 players, 6 pairs of players here, and just give me the favourites. The first one name that sort of you think out of the 2 you prefer.
Okay.
So the first one is Dan Sackman or Chris Breach?
Chris Breach.
Ben Watson or Nicky Wyatt?
I didn't know either of them two, to be honest with you, Liam. I think they were there before me. I can't remember them, Liam.
Both strikers.
I don't remember the 2 of them, Liam. No. I don't know, so I couldn't give you a definitive answer there, mate.
Dave Thomas or Scott Chamberlain?
Dave Thomas.
Yeah, one of the legends at Bognor. Simon Steele or Mark Zadowski? Goalkeepers?
Yeah, the last one.
Zadowski, yeah.
I thought he was a good goalkeeper.
Yeah, he did well. David Birmingham or Charlie Balfe?
David Birmingham.
Yeah, very good player. And the last one, Jimmy Wilde or Scott Tipper?
I never saw Scott play for Bognor, to be honest with you, Liam, so I'd have to say Jimmy Wilde.
Scott Tipper, of course, came from Arundel. I think that's where he sort of originated.
Yeah, I remember. I've actually seen Scott play for Arundel. He's a centre forward, isn't he?
That's right. Yeah, very similar sort of build, sort of tall, and that's why I put them together in that one.
Yeah, so I have seen him play for Arundel, but I've never recalled him at Bognor, to be honest with you, Liam.
I think it was a very short spell with us, but it's one of those players that sort of always springs to mind when I think of strikers.
So I'd have to say Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy Wilde. I think he's one for the future. I think he divides opinion, Jimmy Wilde, but I think with a bit of time, with a bit of work with him, I think he can be a good striker.
He's scored some decent goals for Bognor over the years, Liam. A lot of people don't realise he has scored a couple of decent goals.
Yeah, no, don't disagree with that at all. And what are your thoughts on where we can finish next season, looking ahead to whenever we start again?
Next season?
Yeah.
I think if we can hit the deck running, Liam, I think we'd be there or thereabouts. But it'd be interesting to see what players they can retain from this season. I'm not 100% they'll be able to keep Dan Smith. They certainly won't be able to keep Joe Cook. I don't know what would happen with the goalkeeper. Have they re-signed anybody yet? Do you know, Liam? Have they re-signed any?
I believe Amadou Tangara has signed on for this coming season. And after speaking to Craney, he hopes to stay, but there's been no discussions yet. But I think they're hoping that the sort of spine of the team will remain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened with Bradley Lethbridge. I don't know whether he'll stay or go or try and get to whatever. I think Dan might attempt to try and go, but I know he's a hard player at the minute, Dan, but I think he's always looking to try and go up the leagues if he probably can. So I'd love to see them sign a real good ball winner. I think they're lacking a ball winner like they've been Birmingham. When they're Birmingham in the team, Michael Birmingham, that is.
Yeah.
When they're Birmingham in the team, and then when they're Jason in the team, out and out, if they can get the spine of a team, a guy who can win the ball, he's not frightened to get stuck in and get the ball. I mean, Robson is a bit like that sometimes. But they need a ball winner, Liam. They need somebody who will win the ball. And somebody who knows where the back of the net is. I know Dan scores a lot of goals, but I don't think I'd say he's not prolific enough, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think he almost needs somebody up there, either up there with him or an opposing player within the side that can make him work harder on the field.
Yeah, I think we don't seem to have the wing play that we used to have, the likes of Johnson on one wing and Parsons on the other and Greeny on the other, knocking the ball over to the likes of Jason. And I remember even when Luke was played for us, when your two wingers going down and knocking the ball in, and Doddy love it and Godfrey would love it.
Yeah.
But when was the last time that we had a real proper out winger? I know Mason Walsh, is he classed as a winger? And he's an excellent player, but I'd love to see a proper winger. I'd love to see with Parsons and one wing and somebody else on the other wing. When we used to put the ball in, you look at the number of games we had sometimes, Liam, when we absolutely battered teams, we didn't let anybody put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, exactly. And hopefully there'll be, lots of players playing in those positions that will want to stay with us next year or
I hope so. I think if they can, well, they'll be coming up against a lot of other sides. I mean, I'm no doubt Worthing will be up there again, Liam. So I'd like to think if they can hit the ground running, I think they'll be up there. I think they'll be up there, Liam.
Definitely, and I agree with you about a ball-winning midfielder. I definitely think we lack that sort of authoritative figure in the middle that can.
I think that's all they're missing, Liam.
Yeah.
That's all they're missing is a real ball winner. Somebody with,
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And in your opinion, Tommy, looking over the past season, the cut short 2019-20 season, who was the best young player that you thought shone?
Oh, God, now then. Well, Lethbridge, when Lethbridge put a shift in, he was good.
Yeah.
When he put a shift in. If Bradley was up for the game, he was good on his day.
Yeah.
Considering that, when you look at the age of that Bognor team for the season, Liam, there wasn't many players over 20.
No. And we've got one of the youngest on average, I believe, in the league.
So, so to be playing at men's level of football, some of them did okay. So I'd say Lethbridge was there or thereabouts. I don't know how old is Joe Cook. He's only young, isn't he?
Yeah, he's. I think he was only 19, 20.
Yeah, and then the lads they go from Portsmouth. I think they some of them will go places.
Yeah, we had Harry Kavanagh on the right.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Lee brothers are both cemented
I
themselves.
I think Tommy Lee is destined. Tommy Lee is definitely destined for higher going further forward, mate. He's a real class player. Ashton's good. Don't get me wrong. Ashton's a good player. I remember the first time I saw Ashton playing at Wingate in Finchley. He looked a very good player. Tommy is an excellent player, and I think Tommy will go places, mate. I think he really will go places.
I just fear that these other clubs might come swooping in and.
But I always think that's good for Bognor. You look at Jimmy. You look at Jimmy. He's at Dorking. You look at Jason. They're at Dorking. You look at some of the players that Bognor have had over the years. The likes of Kane. Kane went, and now he's at Eastbourne Borough. When they leave us early, and they go to bigger clubs, you really can't say too much because they're going to some of the clubs that also play football.
Yeah, definitely, and it's only a matter of time so that some of these players can really make the grade, I think, in league football, and there's been quite a few that have come through the ranks at Bognor that have gone on to do well.
Well, if Jason hadn't got that injury, he could have gone places.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing. I think he really could have almost got the chance at Newcastle, didn't he? That time.
Well, when he turned up for his training, he scored on his training thing.
That's right.
Well, I don't know. They must have saw something they didn't like. You look at young Blocky. I went to see young Blocky when he played for the Hibs, and he looked good in their academy side. He played in the game against Queen of the South, and he didn't look out of place. And I don't know how he's getting on, but young Tommy looks a real prospect in Scottish football. I spoke to the photographer at Queen's Park, and they rated him.
Yeah, I'm sure he's another one that is gonna work his way up. Obviously, he's doing some good stuff over in Scotland. Tommy Block, and obviously glad to hear that he's listening in on Rocks Radio. That's great.
He does. He listens, and he's told me that.
I always remember fondly our away trips on the coach to far-flung places, Tommy. We spoke about this a little bit earlier, but do you have any funny stories while supporting the Rocks you'd like to share with other fans who are listening? Not necessarily on the coach, but any funny stories?
I think the one with Dougie Tuck, I think we were going to lower stuff, and they put Dougie Tuck in a tractor thingy. I think it was lower stuff we were going. I'm pretty sure it was lower stuff.
Oh, at the stop-off at the...
Yeah, we stopped off at one of the service stations, and they put Tucky got his photograph in one of the kids' tractors on in the thingy.
That's right,
and
I
then,
remember.
And then Richard buying the green and white garden gnome.
Oh, yes.
I think there's not many supporters clubs to take two coaches to Maidstone. Maidstone was a superb trip when we played them in the last game of the season, and we beat them. That was another epic day with the supporters club. Truro, to be fair, on the day was good. The stop off in Exeter.
That was one I missed. I missed the Truro one.
Well, that was good. We've had some real classic. There's some right fruitcakes on that coach, mate. Rocky the Bear is just an absolute fruitcake on that coach.
Oh, it's so funny, isn't he?
Yeah. That can make a trip though, Liam.
Exactly, and that's what gets you through the hours, isn't it? The bit of banter on the coach.
That can make a trip, mate. That can make a trip.
Yeah,
definitely. The good memories. The memories are brilliant, mate.
Yeah, brilliant. I totally agree. back to your photography, Tommy. How would you say sports photography has changed over the past 10 years since you started compared to now?
It's changed a lot, Liam. I mean, it's really changed a lot. I've been. I mean, I do Scotland games now. I mean, I'm not as advanced as some of the lads who go to do these Scotland games. But when you see the equipment that they've got, Liam, and then how they've got to have the photographs in to the relevant news channels for whatever, you know, some of them take hundreds and hundreds of photographs. There's a lad there who does Hibernian Football Club, and he, you know, he's you know, they've got top of the range laptops, Liam, like you have, and you know, you can see it's sports photography now. It could be a cutthroat business, and then some clubs haven't got a photographer, Liam. So, and sports photography really over the years is really, I mean, I'm on some of the sites and some of the photographs you get, Liam, are just fantastic. But you can see the lads who do it have either got good equipment or they've got the eye for doing it. But I mean, when you see the number of photographers around the football ground, you just wonder how many pictures you can get into a paper. Or I think this is why it's a cutthroat business for them poor lads these days, Liam. And they must be really struggling now that there's no football at the minute and they've got no income coming in. No. I mean, it's not too bad for me because I work on the trains, but I really got sympathy for them at the moment, Liam, because, as I say, it's a cutthroat business, that, you know, the sports photography. Because there's no motor racing, there's no horse racing, there's no boxing, there's no show, there's just nothing, there's no sport whatsoever, Liam. So, not even tennis. You know, and they must be pulling their hair out, some of these poor guys. The sports photography, as you say, it probably has changed, Liam. Because the cameras out there, the lenses out there, and you know, it can be very, very demanding.
Yeah, and hopefully, you know, when it all gets back to normal, people can get back to that. But as you say, there might be people relying on a photography career, and they can't physically go out and do that on the sporting stage.
Can't do nothing, Liam.
No, I totally agree with that, and that is a real worry, obviously, for people across the world. You've spoken about stopping doing the photography officially for the club, Tommy. But does this mean you'll stop taking photos altogether, or will you continue?
No, I'll probably go out and just. I can do things more chill, Liam. There's no rush to do things then anymore, and I can go out and about. Me and the wife have got plans to go up to Glasgow for the weekends. So I want to go to Scarborough. I'd love to go and see some matches down in Cornwall, Devon, and that. And so. It's about me and her now, Liam. As you get a little bit older, it's about us going away on a Friday, doing whatever on a Friday, taking a game somewhere on a Saturday, probably not league stuff, and then, you know, enjoying the whole day on a Sunday, and then you come back on the train. It's a good thing about working on the trains, Liam. There's loads of places to go, but I'll still go, if I've got the days off, I'll still go and watch Bognor at home, and I've still got plans to go be a member on the supporters bus next year, so who knows, if it's a ground I've never been to, you might see me pop up, Liam.
No, that's great to hear that you're going to continue. So you're going to continue supporting the Rocks.
Oh, absolutely.
No, that's great.
Absolutely. Once a Rock, always a Rock, Liam.
Yeah, of course. Final two questions today for you, Tommy. A frustrating season ends for us. Obviously, always be the season that we would have made the playoffs. What is your opinion on where we would have finished, and what are your hopes for next season?
I genuinely believe, Liam, this is genuine, I don't think we would have made the playoffs. The reason being is the games we had to play. I think Cray Wanderers away could have been a real tricky one. I think that would have been a really tricky game away from home. Because between then and between the last game at Horsham, we were still quite far off the playoff spots. I think we were about 6 points outside it, Liam.
Yes, 6 or 7, I think, yeah.
And there wasn't many games to go. And we still had to play the likes of Cray Wanderers away.
Yeah.
We had to play Hornchurch at home, which, again, wouldn't have been an easy game. And we couldn't have afforded to drop many points, Liam. Brightlingsea away, I think we would have won that because I think they had gone anyway. I think they were on their way down. Bowers and Pitchley would have been interesting at home.
Yeah.
So if you look at the home games, I think, we made, I'm not too sure if we got maximum points, but it wouldn't have been far away. But the away games, I'm not so sure. And we had to still play Lewis as well.
Yeah, we still had quite a lot of home games left, didn't we, in the last 10 games or so, or whatever it was left.
Yeah, I think with Lewis up, I think we were due to play Lewis at home, Hornchurch at home, Wingate and Finchley at home. I think it was about 4 or 5 at home, Liam.
Yeah, I think we had certainly had more home than we did away.
Yeah.
I know one of the big away ones was obviously Cray Wanderers, and the other one obviously Brighton Sea, but they were struggling. But that was right at the back end of the season.
Well, Brighton Sea was the last away game.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
And if they'd have been down on the last day of the season, you never know what you're going to get.
No.
And if they needed anything, we don't talk to me about teams that are already relegated, Liam, because we don't seem to turn up against them.
And obviously that's not happening now, so it's all null and void, and coronavirus has taken over, really.
So going forward, who knows? As I say, what I said to you before, if we can get a ball winner, an out-and-out goal scorer, who knows? Who knows what could happen, Liam?
But the start of the season obviously is going to be crucial, isn't it, next year? To get off to a good start.
Got to hit the ground running, Liam. Got to hit the ground running. And I'd love this to sometimes not play the likes of Gosport Boroughs of this world. I like us to try our harm at playing local sides, Liam, just to get the players to try and. Sometimes a couple of good results can breed confidence. You know, to lose 6-1 at Gosport last year, and then you think if we'd have played somebody and won a couple of games, the confidence could have been there, Liam.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we need to look at more local sides and give them a match, and it grounds the players. I would say if you're playing teams that obviously Pompey, obviously that's our big game pre-season.
I don't mind playing Pompey. I don't mind playing them, Liam.
But yeah, I think like Chichester and teams like that around us that we can really, have a good go and warm up before the season starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's yet to be seen, though, Tommy. But many thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you at many games in the future, whenever that may be. I really appreciate you spending the time talking with me today for On the Rocks. Thank you for your tremendous work being the Rocks official photographer, capturing moments throughout the past 10 years. I salute you, Tommy Mack.
Thank you. Cheers, Liam. I've enjoyed every minute of it, mate. Wonderful memories.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tommy. Again,
Liam. All the best, mate.
Thanks, Tommy. Again, a big thanks to Rock's very own matchday photographer, Tommy McMillan, for being my guest today and getting the chance to chat with him. All was great fun for me, and I appreciate him taking the time. I want to let all fans know that we are all wanting the season to get going again, but it seems we're going to have to wait and see what happens. We hope to continue with future episodes of On the Rocks in the interim. So if you would like to get your say in an upcoming episode of On the Rocks, then please contact me on Twitter at Liam Goodley, or email me at the present time, goodley@hotmail.co.uk, whilst there is no football. If your business would like to sponsor our podcast, then please contact David Robinson to talk you through the options. Get your company mentioned on the air with us every episode. This has been an On the Rocks podcast production brought to you by the BRTFC Supporters Club. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. Up the Rocks.